I'd like to introduce you all to my friend Mike. He's here today to perform kind of a PSA. Mike's about to undergo a medical procedure that is experimental in nature. And in fact, how many people are going through this medical procedure in the United States?
As far as I understand it, there's only 300 of these studies being done in the United States. It has been done in Europe.
How many in Europe, do you know?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's a relatively new procedure, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to affect positively your blood pressure. Now, Mike, you've had blood pressure issues for quite a few years. How long have you had blood pressure issues?
Really, as long as I can remember. You know, it's always been one of those things that you know, I go to the doctor, they give me medication, which is supposed to control it, and I just don't know how effective it's been. It's something that I've ignored.
Right. But quite a few years?
Oh, God, yeah.
Now, when we say blood pressure issues, you've got high blood pressure.
Yeah, I mean, 175 over 120 isn't outrageous.
That's pretty normal, standard for you, even with multiple medications.
Yes.
Okay. And considering that's obviously a dangerous level, in the medical world's estimates, what will that do to your lifespan?
Well, according to the doctor, he said he was, and this is kind of what sold me on it, he said he was confident this one change in lifestyle without continuing, you know, medication. Like I said, I'm taking 4 prescriptions, actually 5 prescriptions now, twice a day. That's a lot of pills.
That's a lot of pills.
Yeah, and so here's something that eventually I hope to completely be off the blood pressure medicine and have this device control my blood pressure
So
issues.
completely medication free after this procedure?
Yes.
Now, how invasive is this procedure?
Well, this is going to happen within the next week, and I'm scared to death. I'm not one to go under the needle or under the knife. They're actually going to open my chest up, install a device about the size of an iPod into my chest, and then they're going to expose the carotid artery on both sides, and then wire these electrodes to it, and apparently this electronic stimulation is what's going to control my blood pressure as opposed to the way it is now with the pharmaceuticals.
Right. So now, who makes this device?
It's made by a company called Rheos, R-H-E-O-S.
Okay. Now, do they have any ties to the corporations out there?
You know, again, I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. I've kind of gone into this with, you know, with the trust and the confidence in the doctors. I mean, obviously, the doctors, you know what they're doing. And when this guy looked at me and said, you know, this one simple procedure can add 20 years to your life.
20 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
And you know, it just made sense.
So is it similar to to one of those implantable defibrillators that I've seen people with?
Like a pacemaker?
Right.
It's very similar, except the difference between this and a pacemaker is this is active all the time.
Okay.
So my understanding, and again without being too clinical, my understanding is that with a pacemaker, batteries need to be changed every 5-10 years. With this device, the batteries will have to actually be changed every year to year and a half.
Okay.
Depending on the voltage required, or depending on how much.
So if the batteries have to be changed, then it's an internal unit.
Right.
That means you actually every year and a half or so often have to go back in, be opened back up, have this device removed, and then a new battery inserted, and then of course they reinsert this device.
Right. But now that's always done on an outpatient.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so they probably don't have to remove the unit. They just have a way that they can slide a new battery in there. Okay. Okay.
Sure.
But this is a game changer for your health.
I think so. Okay. My biggest concern, you know, was taking as many medications as I have been.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the reality is I don't really experience any side effects, or maybe I do and I don't realize it.
Okay.
You know, but eventually, as it takes more and more medication to control my blood pressure, I'm going to start running into drugs that do have certain side effects that I'm not going to be comfortable with as I get older.
Right.
So I think that's why this is important now.
Oh, no, absolutely. I agree 100% on that. Anytime you can eliminate pharmaceuticals from your life, you're always better off, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
I'm no fan of big pharma. So now, you're having this surgery done when?
Well, you know, I've kind of told the people at the hospital to let me know right before it happens. That way I'm not sitting here worried about...
Oh, so they don't actually have a day that's actually scheduled in?
Actually, they do.
Okay.
I'm just the last to know about
Oh, okay,
it.
okay, I got you. Now, this is going to be a blind study. My understanding, a blind study.
Yeah, which
Okay.
is really interesting. For the first 6 months, 1 out of the 3 devices installed will actually be turned off. And so,
1 out of 3.
1 out of 3.
Wow.
So I've got a 60% or a 66% chance that the device that they install in me is active. My understanding is I'm number 294 to have this installed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's hard to say whether or not mine's going to be active or not. But after 6 months,
Right.
they're going to turn them all on.
Okay.
So,
Assuming that the study went as planned.
right, and it could be actually be sooner than that, depending on when the FDA...
And they pretty much know what the outcome's going to be because this was actually pioneered in Europe.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is...
This is just approved to the United States FDA that it's not going to kill anybody and it will actually improve people's lives.
They consider
Okay.
this a pivotal clinical study, which means that this is the last one before FDA approval.
Okay. Now, just real quick, you could not control your blood pressure with lifestyle changes, correct? I mean, and the reason I ask that is because I know for a fact that you work out on a regular basis because you work out here with me. You do work out.
Yeah, unfortunately, lifestyle changes haven't been able to control it.
Okay.
I mean, nothing's...
Yeah, we're talking about an extreme case of high blood pressure.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. How many people in this country is affected by high blood pressure?
Oh my God! I mean, it's millions.
Millions of people?
They say, what is it? 1 out of 4 or 3 out of 4. I mean, it's just an astronomical number. And the problem is, or the problem that I found with it is, I feel great.
Right.
I don't have associated health problems with what you would think.
Right. But you're still relatively young.
Well, yeah, I'm 44 years old. But God, I feel healthy. I feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I told the doctor. And he says that's why they call high blood pressure the silent killer.
The silent killer. I've heard that before. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't feel any symptoms
Till the day you have a stroke or a heart attack.
Yeah, and what a way to go.
Sure. So you're scared, but you're also excited. I'm sure that this is going to extend your life, and ultimately, well, it's got to be a cheaper scenario, I would think, other than God knows what those batteries are going to cost.
Yeah, and actually, that's kind of the unknown here. Is what these batteries cost.
Okay.
Now, as long as the study's active, okay, which the study is scheduled to go on for 3 years, which would mean if it does go the distance, that I wouldn't have to pay for the first 2 or 3
batteries.
replacements.
Okay.
Okay.
Huh.
But if the FDA approves this sooner, the study could be over. I end up with a free device, but I'm on the hook for the batteries.
Right.
But I still think, the overall health benefits.
Well, sure. Listen, if you can gain 10 or 20 years on your life,
Right.
Of course you realize you're going to single-handedly destroy Social Security, but that's okay. We really were counting on you dropping dead early. Anyway, listen, I need to wrap this up. If anybody has any questions of Mike, go ahead and you can ask them either in the comment section, or you can. I'll link to his channel. You can ask him on his channel if you want, and feel free to subscribe to him. And also, I believe in his favorites, he actually has a video that actually shows this procedure, talks more about this procedure. So if any of you have blood pressure or high blood pressure issues, you might want to look into this. Mike, I appreciate you taking the time to do this with me today. We're going to actually try our best to have his procedure filmed. I don't know how many people will be into that, but I'm going to try to sneak into the OR and get that done.
Well, the other thing I want to do too, and I want to start this up as quickly as possible, is on a daily basis take my blood pressure readings now.
Yeah, right.
After the procedure, okay, and then it'll take a month before the device is actually turned on, or whether they go, whether it's going to be turned on. So for the first month, nothing will change, okay, other than the device will be installed, and then we'll monitor blood pressure
Okay. Well, we may do another video on this before that procedure, but anyway, we're out of time. Everybody, take care.